Talking about a lot of money there. Christina Coleman, live for us in L.A. Christina, thank you. Molly?
So much money. For more insight on Elon Musk backing out of his bid to buy Twitter, plus the mounting economic pressures that the Biden administration is facing, joining me now, the president and CEO of the Job Creators Network, Alfredo Ortiz. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being with us on a Saturday afternoon. Starting, of course,
Thank you, Molly.
with Elon Musk. Yes, he's Elon Musk saying he's going to terminate the Twitter deal. The board of Twitter saying you're not going to fly away that easy. The chair tweeting that the board intends to close this transaction, the price and terms agreed upon, and they're promising legal action to enforce, the merger agreement. What do you think happens next?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, right now, there are a lot of progressive far-lefters that are probably high-fiving themselves and pretty excited that the fact that the deal may not go through. And I know conservatives also, I think, are a little bit disappointed because I think they finally thought that maybe with the acquisition and takeover of Twitter by Elon Musk, that the transparency that really has lacked that social media giant, that finally would be fixed. I mean, remember, that was one of the primary reasons he started looking at Twitter, was to really kind of correct something which was really a far-left bias and was really just squashing the voices of conservatives. In fact, Molly, Job Creators Network ourselves, we actually got our account suspended for several weeks because we are a small business organization representing all small businesses in this country, and we happen to have said something that was truth about the Biden administration and inflation. And so, again, I think this is it's a moment where we'll see where it goes, but I think both sides right now have their feelings. Some are up and some are down.
Yeah, I was just going to say, really the question at the heart of this is what does this mean for the Twitter users, for the people that are on this platform? Musk, uber rich, eccentric, it's fair to say, I'd say. He's fought in court and won in the past. So where do we go from here? Because there are plenty of people on Twitter. And so in essence, we're sort of experiencing this with a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely, Molly. And I think what we're really seeing is we're just kind of seeing free market at its best here. The numbers just came out, of course. We saw how the shares have dropped even beyond where they were on Thursday, another 5% on Friday. This is basically the market saying that they were looking for that kind of transparency and balance with Twitter, and the value was going to be there with what Elon Musk was planning to do, which is provide that balance. But now it's going to revert back to where it was. You see how the value has really dropped. So, that's probably one of the reasons, too, Molly, that we started an initiative called the Boardroom Initiative to get corporations like Twitter to stop getting their noses into politics and really do what it's meant to be doing. And frankly, looking at shareholder value as its primary goal.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a saga. I want to quickly get to the broader economic picture. Despite the looming recession, inflation at a 40-year high, Democrats, the White House, the Biden administration, they're pointing to positive numbers this week. Jobs numbers, employers adding 372,000 jobs in June, above expectations. Gas prices going down a bit in the last couple of days. Should the Democrats be excited? They're really pointing to these as points of light.
Yeah, they shouldn't at all, Molly. And honestly and frankly, I am a little tired of listening to the Biden administration trying to lie to the American public and trying to pass off historic failures as historic gains. Yes, it's really good that we got to the 374. And remember, April and May were restated. So, if you take that into account, the job gains were good, but we're still not even at the pre-pandemic levels. We are still a few 100,000 jobs shy of that. And so really when he talks about these historic job growth, it's really just backfilling jobs that existed pre-pandemic in which the government forced a shutdown of businesses across the country. And so, but they really failed to mention and continue to fail to mention the 8.6%. They try to blame it on Putin. They try to blame it on, the meat packers. They try to blame it on, the big bad gas station owners. The reality is that the reason we are in this position is because of the horrible decision they made from day one in terms of basically putting our domestic energy production plan on pause and, frankly, taking us back to a point where we're now going to Saudi Arabia hat in hand looking for oil.
Yeah, you touched on a lot of the issues that voters are going to be looking at as we get closer and closer to November. We really appreciate it, Alfredo.